In July 2018, NTV GREEN embarked on an investigation to check the extent of human-wildlife conflict on communities living near Queen Elizabeth National Park.
Sit down.
However, while executing this assignment, we met aggrieved farmers in Chondo sub-county in Kasese district trying to chase away a herd of elephants that had raided their farms and destroyed their gardens.
They come in groups, zingine zinakuja kwa upande hii Chondo.
Indeed, we saw some of the giant creatures from Queen Elizabeth National Park trampling on the crops and laying gardens bare. The locals and rangers from the Uganda Wildlife Authority use a number of tactics to scare off the elephants. The Uganda Wildlife Authority is a government institution responsible for wildlife management. Officials say that they are aware of the persistent human-wildlife conflict where wild animals escape from the national park or wildlife reserve and raid nearby homesteads. The authority is moving to find a permanent solution to the problem, and one intervention is the construction of an electric fence around the national park.
But as a result of our interventions with them, they also understand that we are trying to do something. That's why when you go there, even if it is at night time, our rangers are always there to respond.
Recently, we found the construction of an electric fence around Queen Elizabeth National Park in progress. Scores of residents were engaged in the exercise. These locals were trained by Space for Giants, an international conservation charity focused on protecting wildlife, but with emphasis on the African elephant. Preventing and mitigating human-wildlife conflict is also part of their mission, and in Uganda, they work closely with the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Officials say this type of fencing is highly effective against elephants.
Before we are building those kind of fences, they are long, but the elephants, they are very clever. So the elephants came, they were being shocked when they touched those fences, but they evolved. They are very clever. They have that extra sense. They come, they touch their heat. They come, they touch their heat. But now they discovered that if we use our tusks with those long fences, they will come, put under the wire, and remove the wire. They come, put in the second one, the tusk, they remove. The tusk is not getting a shock. Now, they discovered that if we put this outrigger, maybe 1.5 meters where I'm standing, it will come with it tries to touch and it will electrify and goes, and it will not have that chance to break the fence.
Space for Giants will construct the first 10 kilometers of the fence at $5,000 to $6,000 per kilometer. Uganda Wildlife Authority will then take on the work to completion.
So the way this small fence, as you are seeing it works, we have a solar stand that sends the power to the battery. The energizer converts the power from the batteries into pulse to high voltage power, and it sends it to the fence through as pulse. Another name for pulse is shock. So the way this fence does, it hits and it releases. It sends the shock in seconds. It hits and it releases. It hits and it releases. So it can't kill.
Chief Warden of Queen Elizabeth National Park, Edward Asalu, says they have received some good feedback from the community members on the impact of the fence, and once construction is complete, it's expected that human-wildlife conflict will decline significantly.
When we came to launch this program with the minister, the communities were skeptical. They were saying, no, this thing is not going to work. But now these people who are working here have tried to test this fence and they're saying, the thing really works.
Residents of Chenzanza near Chambura town who have lost a lot because of these animals are predominantly cotton farmers, and they dread seeing the giant creatures each time they step out of the park.
The person who usually comes here is there to be on alert, to try and warn his colleagues when the elephants are coming. He has a mosquito net to try to keep the mosquitoes away, and it tells you how human-wildlife conflict has been a very big issue in these areas.
These buffaloes, elephants, they have been encroaching the plants of these residents. And at times, there was one incident in a place called Masior. Elephants encroached that place and it killed one person. So the rest were just feared, and the whole village was just full of crying.
The electric fence will cordon off not the whole but some parts of the 1,978 square kilometer Queen Elizabeth National Park, starting with areas where human-wildlife conflict is intense. The 3-foot fence may perhaps be the beginning of the mitigation of the long-running problem. Suhel Mugabe, NTV Green.